Hello. I am back for the general questions in this Q&A video series. Question number 1, what made you get into bikini competitions in the first place? So you may or may not know that this year is not my first time competing. So back in 2018, I competed at the Rhino Classic show. It was a very last minute decision. I did not have a clue what I was doing up on that stage because I didn't get a posing coach. I didn't really even look into posing. It was all a bit of a mess. The reason behind it was a couple of months prior, I had found a piece of paper when I was clearing out my office, and it was a bucket list that I had written, and on it was do a bikini show or do a bikini competition. So at the time I was training with my friend who's also a personal trainer. She's a bodybuilder herself, and we decided at the 11th hour to prep me for this show in a mere 7 weeks. And it was a really interesting experience. I learned so much about myself, and I've talked about this before. It's actually in my speech at my book launch as well. Taking all those distractions away, all those daily distractions of, you know, stuffing down your feelings with food or alcohol, or distracting yourself by, you know, various things that you do to distract yourself. Kind of taking all that away just leaves you with yourself. When you're not used to that, it's pretty interesting. It's a real eye-opener. So yeah, that was the journey and the process. Then obviously this year, I just joke that basically this whole competing and this whole journey that I've been on this year was really just a lockdown diet that got a little out of hand. So I started it in January because I just needed to do something for me. I spent the whole of last year focusing on business, panicking about everything. I'd obviously put on a little bit of weight. Sorry, I say obviously, but I think lots of people did. And I just wanted to just go in and kind of reconnect with myself and just grab some order back in my life, because certainly with business, like I didn't even know if I was going to have a business, because when we went to the second lockdown, I was like, I can't anymore. I'm out. So I just needed another focus and something that was going to serve me. And I knew that from the past experience I had, it was an eye-opener. And even though it was, you know, difficult in a sense, it was very beneficial to me and I learned a lot. So I kind of wanted to do that process again. So I aimed for a show in April. That did not go ahead because we were still in lockdown. So I just continued on with what I was doing because I was feeling good. It was working. It was really easy for me to do because I didn't have people constantly saying like, this event's on, or come out here, or let's go to eat here, or do you want to come around for drinks, or whatever. None of that was there. So I just managed to get in a flow with it. And I started kind of building myself back up. The show didn't go ahead, obviously. Then we were released from lockdown, business kind of really ramped up, but the magical thing was that I had really built in that routine and those habits as well, that I found it really easy to just maintain the physique that I had improved on, that I had built. Obviously I was thrilled that we could go back into the gym as well, and I could do sort of proper workouts. So I really kept going with that, and that was motivating. I actually was looking even better than before. So I just decided, well, do you know what? I was going to do the show anyway. Why not diet down? And let's do it. And to be honest, that was another short prep that was 5 weeks. But if I kind of been sort of on prep-ish since January. I never really let myself fully go, and I never ever want to let myself fully go again. I'm not going to say that's not going to happen, because that's life, and you know, other things kind of take form and take flight, and that's just the way it goes. That was the reason I ended up doing the show, and well, I did 2. One was a disaster. You can check back on the vlog series for that. After the second show, I really loved it. I met more people at the show day. We all kept in contact. And it's such a great community. I just decided, you know what, let's finish the year on a high. Let's do one before we go out. I did the next show, and that again was in a shorter prep, sort of 4 weeks. I have said I would always like to do, if I was ever going to do this again, I would like to do a proper prep where we know kind of what's going on, because everything's been so uncertain with lockdowns and not lockdowns, and I haven't really known what's going on with work. I'm thrilled that everything's back on track now. We've had a mad busy year, which is wonderful. So that in itself as well has been pretty difficult juggling. So now we're coming up to Christmas. I'm really thinking, okay, I've kind of started this. It was a bit of fun for this year. It served its purpose. Where do I want to go with this? And do I want to continue on with it? And I don't know the answer to that. Absolutely, my training in the gym, I keep going, my tracking as well. It's really helpful for me to track stuff because that really complements everything else in my life. It keeps order around everything that I do, and particularly for business as well. I really, when you see the benefits on yourself of, you know, tracking things and just really kind of setting goals and building the routine and habits around to support the goals, and you start applying that everywhere because you know it works. So that's, yeah, how I got into competing, what I've kind of done. Not sure what I'm going to be doing going forwards, because actually that was the next question. So someone asked, what got you into fitness competing and what are you aiming to achieve? So I don't know yet. I feel like I've already achieved what I wanted to do. It was never really about the shows. It was about just getting myself back on track. It was about serving myself, becoming a better human, becoming a better functioning adult. Yeah, just building some things in to my life that were going to serve me long term as opposed to short term. And that's really what I'm thinking on at the moment, because I'm not entirely sure prepping for shows is actually a great thing to serve one in the long run. So I will get back to you on that. Question number 3, who is your hero? I don't have one hero. I admire so many people. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of amazing people that I personally know that really inspire me and motivate me as well. A few years back, I came up with this idea that I wanted to become my own hero. I don't know if you know about my past as well, but I was in rehab at 21. I did a real good job at just messing my life and my head up, and it was all just a bit of a mess. And it was shortly after that, sort of a couple of years on, just getting rid of that feeling of someone needing to fix me. I wasn't broken. I'm not broken. None of us are. I just decided, I said, do you know what? I'm gonna become my own hero. That's what I'm gonna do. And all the people that I admire, or anyone that I find out in the world that I think is awesome, I'm just going to find out how they got there, or how they did the things, or why they are the way they are. And I'm going to just sort of take that on board and model it, I guess to me. So really the aim is to become my own hero. And I just don't have one single person that I would call a hero. I have lots of people that I think are heroes. I think we're all heroes in our lives, and we all overcome adversity. And even what is a small problem to someone, maybe like a much bigger problem to someone else. Like, it just depends, and we're all overcoming obstacles. We're all just navigating this really bumpy road of life to the best of our ability, and we're always learning, and we're always reaching new heights, and we're always progressing, because we can't not. If we're still getting by day by day by day, we're changing every single day. So yeah, everybody's a hero in that sense. And there's no one I can really name specifically, but other than I am over here trying to become my own hero. Question number 4. How have your family's reactions been to changes in your physique? Mine have been too supportive. Oh, I don't know if that means they've been too supportive, like overly supportive, which you don't like, or it's like a good thing that they've been really, really supportive of you. My family's reaction. So there's one member of my family who's not been hugely keen on this show stuff. Everyone's been really supportive in terms of building muscle, the fitness aspect of it, drinking less as well, drinking alcohol less, just being more mindful of food. Absolutely everybody's in support of that. The whole, I'll tell you, it's my mum, and I think it's a generational thing as well. The whole orange bodies, glitzy bikinis, heels on stage, prancing around, I just don't think she can get on board with that. And I totally understand that. You think from the outside that actually it would be full of bitches in a sense, and just not a nice place to be in, and people kind of stepping on each other and not being very nice. But it's actually the opposite. You're all in it together on show day. You all understand what each person has been through to get to that show day, and it's really just a celebration on that day. And I think that's what makes it so nice, and you feel like you're with your people. And we all, you know, we all want connection at the end of the day. It's like a fundamental need for us. So to feel connected to everybody in a sense that's what's so lovely. So I try to explain this to my mum, and I think she gets it now. But you know, my dad's been super supportive. He is like my biggest fan, bless him. It's kind of a mixed bag, really. It's taken some explaining to do. I think the drop in weight loss as well, there's been slight concern because of my addictive tendencies. So to be dropping weight or obsessively doing training or cardio or anything like that, I think that sort of worries my family a little bit. But everyone, I think, gets it now, and we're kind of there. As for everybody else, I know you said about family, but like, huge thanks to all of you guys, and you know, all the people on social media as well, sort of cheering me on. It's just been wonderful, and the community as well that I've all my new friends that I've met competing, they've just been super supportive. And you know, without that support, it's so much harder to go through with stuff, and to keep going with stuff, I think. So it's really important to have that support network there. And yeah, I mean, the majority of my family are right behind me. It's just, yeah, the show thing. And I have my reservations about that as well, about how healthy that is to be doing long term, because I'm not entirely sure that it is. And there might be other ways that achieve the same thing that aren't necessarily bikini shows or physique shows or bodybuilding competitions. Right, number 5, what do you want from your body? Now, I remember when this question came up and it was messaged to me on a poll, and I wasn't sure if it was said as in like, what do you want from your body because of what I've been putting it through, or if it was just a general, you know, what do you want from your body? So I just want to be fit and healthy. I just want my body to be the best it can be. I don't want to break it. I never want to like touch steroids or anything like that. Hence why I'm seriously considering the future of getting into this kind of world, essentially, because I know that's where things can lead, particularly in competitions. But that's probably a talk for another day. I just want it to be as fit and strong as it can be. I enjoy a variety of things. I'm not just a runner. I don't just want to do weightlifting. I enjoy bits of cardio. I enjoy kind of mix and matching. I enjoy lifting heavy, but that's not all I want to do. And I enjoy my cardio as well. Sometimes I just enjoy the Stairmaster. I've got back into spinning recently as well. So I just like to sort of mix it all up and keeping my heart healthy, but also keeping my body strong. And if I remember years back when I went to the gym for the first time and I was kind of getting a bit hooked on classes and like body pump and stuff, I noticed how much better my posture was. You know, my core got a lot stronger, and that's, you know, every day just walking around, and it, you know, avoids kind of pain and things. So that's really the what I want for my body. I just want it to be healthy and it to support me for as many years as possible. And yeah, just to be running it to its best ability. If it was said in the other way of what do you want from your body, then I totally get that, because you know, dropping weight, putting on weight, dropping weight, and you know, mucking around with food and meticulously counting kind of macros, it's not, from the outside it doesn't look particularly great. You know, they're munching on tons of peanut butter and rice cakes as well, and essentially what looks like binge eating. That doesn't look great. But my body has never felt so healthy, and nor has my mind as well. So it's, you know, it's a healthy thing to do, I believe. I try to stay away. We talked in the last video about sort of supplements and things like that. I try to stay away from that. I'd sooner eat whole foods, like wholesome foods. I quite like plain food. I do enjoy going out to eat as well. I can cook, and occasionally I do like to cook more for an occasion. I don't want to be cooking every day, putting lots of ingredients in. So I much prefer to know what's kind of in my food and keep it quite plain, and make sure it's balanced. And then I can really feel how my body is reacting, if it's reacting well or not to whatever foods or whatever drinks I'm having. Next question, what keeps you motivated and driven in your fitness journey and goals? it's the progress, it's seeing the progress. So the check-in photos, which is why I do check-in photos as well. My camera roll is like insane. The amount of photos and videos that I've got even for training, and I was going to delete them the other day, and I thought, no, let's keep them, because it's always good to look back on and see how far you've come from, and that is really motivating in itself. So I'd always advise to, track. You don't have to be taking photos or weighing yourself or measuring yourself or anything like that, like on a daily basis or even on a weekly basis, but even once a month, just so you can look back on. And actually, when I was looking at my camera roll the other day, I saw myself trying to do pull-ups at the gym, probably last September, really struggling, swinging around, and it's from the back, like my whole shape has completely changed. And at the moment, I'm going through a bit of a wobble because I've been ill. That's given me some downtime. It's kind of Christmas, there's lots of social stuff going on. I feel like things are spinning out of a little bit of control, which they kind of need to, because I've been very controlled for a while. But just looking at that was like, oh, okay. I just panicked that I'm going back to where I was. There's nothing wrong with the way I looked, and there's nothing wrong with the size that I was, but I wasn't happy and I wasn't healthy and I didn't feel good. So that's it for me. It's not about exterior of how I looked, it's how I felt inside as well. So really, that's what keeps me motivated and driven. And I just know that I have a much more productive day at work if I get my morning cardio in. And I also know that getting something in the evening as well, although not always possible, winds me down. And it also I tend to snack in the evenings and things like that. So it motivates me to know that I'm not going to do that. I'm less likely to do that if I get out. But it's been a journey to get there, to be self-motivating. And trust me, it wasn't there at the beginning. And this has been spanning years anyway of just general fitness stuff, but particularly ramped up a notch, several notches this year. But really, the main thing is looking back and seeing the progress, and also knowing where it's coming from. And that's why tracking is so important, and that's a real skill that I've learned this year, because I can see where I went wrong and then go, well, not wrong, but I can see what's happened. And when I know what's happened, I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's why this has happened. If you don't track, then you don't know why, and then it makes you anxious because you're like, oh, well, and you're kind of just stabbing around in the dark trying to fix stuff. Whereas if you know exactly what the problem is, probably doesn't need fixing. It's just a one-off. So, you just go, okay, that happened because of that, and carry on. Whereas if you're not aware of what's going on, then you're likely to start doing weird stuff or other stuff, or panicking, or just basically feeling out of control and powerless because you don't know what's going on. So tracking is a really, really good thing to do across all areas. And I do it, obviously a lot with business as well, because you can't measure what you don't track. Were you nervous about this prep, or were you more confident? So I think that's referring to the last show that I did. And I was more confident, actually. You get to know yourself. I dropped more cardio in. I think before I thought, oh, is there too much cardio? Am I going to burn muscle? Am I, doing this? But I just knew what I could handle, so I could push myself a little bit more. And actually it worked in my favor to be doing more cardio, because it kept me on track, or kept my mind in the right place, as opposed to, wandering off to other things. So it really kept me focused on that end goal. But that was only really towards the end. I felt very much in control, which made me feel confident, because I knew how this was going to go, having done it once before. And I, knew it could really only get better, and it did. And I was working very hard on my glutes, because that's the area, as I said, that needs the most work. I could already see, before I'd even started sort of dialing things in and dieting down, that, everything was going to be fine. As for time on the stage and for show day, absolute disaster for me. I actually froze again on my first walk down on stage, and my mind was just not there, because if you've seen the vlog, you'll know that I got there at 11 and I didn't get on stage till 8. I was left sort of waiting around, and I brought kind of family over at like 5 p.m. and I was aware of that, and my head wasn't in the right place. So that knocked my confidence a little bit. But after that, and I had to get back on the second time, I was like, screw this, my God, I've waited all day. I would just do my routine and get it done. But yeah, the prep in itself, I did feel more confident. That whole fear of the unknown, when it's not there, you can be more confident with it, and a bit bolder with playing around with things as well, which I did with food, and as I said, with training by adding the cardio in. And finally, were you always passionate about health and wellness? So again, I think it comes from a motivation thing. So I started going to the gym when I started my business. I needed to get out of bed for something in the morning, and I was just starting my business. I was gaining experience as a makeup artist. I was refreshing job boards literally every minute, just trying to find work, trying to find collaborations and things. And so I needed to be proactive and driven, and that doesn't really necessarily come naturally unless you're getting up for something. And when you don't have a 9-to-5 job or someone to call you into the office, then you need to create that for yourself. And so that started with me putting a gym class in. We're going back like 2010 or something, 2009. And so I do a class in the morning, and that, you know, got me out of bed. It was a place I had to be. It was an appointment as such. And then once I'd done that, there's a certain feeling of accomplishment as well, that you've done something. You release endorphins as well, so that's great. You're in a happier mood, and then it just makes you more kind of proactive for the day. So that's really where my kind of journey started, and I got more into classes the more I sort of spent at the gym. Yeah, I do like my social life. I've always had a good appetite. I always eat quite healthy anyway. I love the feeling of, you know, doing a good workout. I, you know, feel that I can reward myself with time off, you know, eating out. And this isn't using food or drink as a reward. It's just more the whole package and the whole experience as well. And it just really helped me with motivation and driving myself forward in terms of business, which is what I needed. And it's stuck since. It did actually pose a bit of a problem at one point, because I got so into it that actually when I was getting lots of work in, I was getting annoyed that it was interfering with my gym time or my class time as well. So I really had to think on that and give myself a bit of a talking to there. Because it was disrupting my routine. Yet this was a routine I built in order for me to work more, yet then work was suddenly getting in the way. So, you know, these things come up for me all the time as well. And it's just taking a real kind of step back and looking at the situation and saying, well, what is going on here? This is actually obsessive compulsive behavior. We need to rectify this and get to the bottom of it. Health is always it has to be important for all of us. Without our health, we're no good to anybody else, and obviously we're no good to ourselves. So we've only got one body, we've only got one mind, and we really need to look after them. So yeah, it's an important thing for me, and something that I will always be into, as it were. So that's the end of the questions. If you've got any more, then please drop them in the comments, and I'll reply by the comments. Probably not do another video. Depends how many we get. And let me know what else you want to see or hear on this channel as well. I'm going to keep up with some vloggy stuff as well. Looking to do a little something in January, or be revealed soon. But yeah, if there's anything you would love to see here, then let me know, because I'm always looking for ideas and I'm open to ideas, and I do like a challenge. So if you want to challenge me to anything, send them my way. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.